Welcome back everyone. I've just finished coffee and I thought I'd sit down and make a few more of these historical discussion videos because I really enjoy making them and I hope you people enjoy watching them. I've made quite a few already, but today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the French flag because in a previous episode of the historical discussion where I talked about some of the changes to the Dutch flag, I had a little moment of, let's call it, lack of self-control, where I had a bit of a rant about the Dutch and French flags and how some people, when they see a Dutch flag, they think it's a French flag, or they say, oh, it's the French flag the wrong way round. So today I thought I'd have a look at the symbolism behind the French flag, why it is the colours it is, why it's the composition it is, that kind of thing, in actual detail instead of just having a bit of a rant about it in another video. So the French flag is obviously, if you didn't know, the one on the screen behind my icon. It's blue, white and red. It's called the tricolore in French, or the tricolore, I think, which means, very easy to guess, the tri-colour, the three colours. And I actually forgot to mention in my Dutch video that the name for the Dutch flag is the driekleur, which means the same thing, the three colour. So the colours red and blue do actually come from the French Revolution and from the Parisian resistance. While the Parisian resistance were storming the Bastille, they wore red and blue cockades, which are these sort of little ribbon badge things that you'd put on your hats, quite popular in the 18th century. And they wore red and blue ones of these. Now, why did they wear red and blue? Because red and blue were important colours for the city of Paris. They were part of the coat of arms of the city of Paris, and the reason why red and blue is because they're both associated with saints. So blue is associated with Saint Martin, and Saint Martin was around in, I think, the 4th century, Roman commander, and probably in Gaul. And in the middle of winter, he's on patrol around Gaul, I think it was, and he comes across a half-naked beggar out in the snow. And what does he do? Well, he takes his gladius and he cuts his cloak in half, and he gives one half of his cloak to the beggar to keep him warm, even though he's this mighty Roman commander. And God looked down from his high perch and made him a saint for doing that. And actually this has some fun little linguistic, a linguistic aftermath, so to speak, in that the word to describe a little cloak was a capella. And if you are a speaker of the Romance languages or even Dutch, then you might know that capella or kapel in Dutch, chapel in English, because of the Old English change from the hard Germanic C to the ch, which is something for another video. But this word for little cloak came to be the same as a word for a church, because this half of cloak became a relic because it was something to do with the saint. So you've got about, it's quite funny, relics actually, because you have so many relics are things that to do with holy people, saints, even Jesus Christ in the Catholic tradition. I think the Orthodox tradition as well. Protestants, no, it's very serious Protestantism. There's no relics and stuff. But Catholicism, pretty sure Orthodoxy as well. But these relics, so the cloak of Saint Martin, the half cloak, that would be kept in a different chapel, and then it would be moved around, and people would literally go for hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to go and see these cloaks when they were in different chapels. And that's why they're called chapels, because that's where the capella, the little cloak of Saint Martin, would be kept for a while, and that's where the name chapel comes from. But that's a little bit of a diversion. Now, where does the red come from? Well, the red is for Saint Denis, and Saint Denis is very much connected to Paris because he was the Bishop of Paris, and he was martyred as well. I think, was Saint Martin martyred? Probably. Was he the one? I don't know. Yeah, probably. He was probably martyred. But Saint Denis was also martyred. He had his head chopped off. But the story with Saint Denis is that even after his head had been chopped off, he gets back up, he picks up his head, and then he walked for 6 miles with his head cradled in his arms, because he's a saint, he does what he likes. So that's why the red and the blue were associated. Then we have one colour left of the tricolore, and that's white. Now, white was for a very long time an important colour for the French. Oh, and one last thing about red and blue, they were also colours on the oriflamme, which is another old banner, which I believe, I can't remember exactly, was held up by a princess during the Danish attack on Paris in AD 845, I think, but don't quote me on that, I'll have to look that up. But I think that's where the oriflamme came from, but that was a very, that goes right back to the Franks, that flag, so that you have red and blue, already important for them, probably for the same reasons, because of St. Martin and St. Denis. But white was for a long time a very important colour for the French. The French Royalist uniforms for a long time were white. So, for example, in the 7 Years' War, the French uniforms were a nice white colour. As well as this, the old French flag, before getting the tricolore after the Republic was declared, was actually white with golden fleurs-de-lis, which are, I think, are they water lilies? I think are they water lilies? I don't know. Fleur de lis. Yeah, fleur de lis means water lily. Yeah, so I think they're with them, but they had essentially these golden fleur de lis on them. Before which, actually, the French flag or a French banner was blue with 3 fleurs de lis, and you actually have that on quite a lot of English designs because of the English claim to the French throne with the 100 Years' War, and before that as well with William the Conqueror, so it's all intertwined really. But for a long time the French flag was white with golden fleurs de lis on, and white was seen as a symbol of purity, also a symbol of, that's why Christians often will wear white to weddings, because white, the bride, is purity, goes back to the Virgin Mary, although the Virgin Mary is also portrayed with blue, so that's another reason for having blue. So there's loads of reasons why. And they wanted to have these revolutionary colours on the French flag. So from the cockades, they had the red and the blue, and adding a white stripe would essentially nationalise the new republic's flag, because it wasn't just any old republic. Every republic needs something that says, we are this republic. So that's why they added in the white, because white had been the colour of France for a very long time. So that's why they added in white. And actually that's quite funny, because another rendition of the French flag, which is very popular, especially in wartime, is you obviously have the white, and then instead of having the red and blue stripes, they just paint it completely white. Or have I got that mixed up? I don't know. Huh. But anyway, so that's a little bit of history about the French flag, about the modern one anyway, and why it's the colours that it is. Oh yeah, and another thing about the 3 colours is that they could also be representative of the 3 pillars in society. So I know the clergy is one of them. They'll probably be white, probably not royalty in the Republic. The bourgeois and the politician. I'm not sure. I don't know my French society very much, although Tom Ritchie has some good videos about the French Revolution and about the État Général as well. So thanks very much for watching. I am History with Hilbert, and I've been rambling on for quite long enough, I think. Thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next video.